At first, I figured they'd just catch some fish, maybe a bit extra, but I never imagined someone would build a steam room. That's impressive. This seems more like a vacation than a survival challenge. Anyone know other cool wilderness survival tricks? Share your tips with us so we can learn. By the 11th day, Anna couldn't bear her own smell anymore. She desperately needed a wash. Since arriving, she'd lost a lot of weight and wasn't as curvy as before. Anna felt that if this continued, her body might not be able to take it. But if any of her friends wanted to lose weight, she'd totally suggest wilderness survival for quick weight loss. Today, she planned to move. The rain here was just too noisy, seriously affecting her sleep quality. So far, Anna hadn't moved into a new shelter. She had planned to sleep more and sit less, only moving when absolutely necessary. Shifting things around was exhausting. If she could, she'd love to lie down and rest, but the filming equipment was heavy. She didn't care much for the big shelter. Living in it felt especially empty. Moving everything far away took a lot of time. Anna was completely worn out. Sonny also felt he had lost a lot of weight. His pants were getting loose. He was quite satisfied with his shelter. He even crafted a lot of furniture, making it ideal for kids to vacation. That cloth served as his personal toilet paper. He typically wore it as a sleeve, but would use it as toilet paper when needed. You have to admit, Sonny is quite resourceful. Next door, he caught a big fish and was in a great mood. He immediately cleaned the fish, but there were too many bones. He intended to fry it and use the leftovers as bait. While most people preferred it raw, Sonny believed it tasted better cooked. However, once cooked, it tasted off. The smell was overwhelmingly fishy and stinky. Unable to bear it, he tossed it. Such a waste. Sonny felt a bit down. His stomach was already sunken in. He didn't know how much longer his body could hold out. He was very anxious. At the same time, Jesper was trying to reach the lake, but the water level had risen significantly. Fishing or setting nets was a hassle due to the high water. Spotting moose tracks, he wished he could hunt one. He doubted his bait would catch any fish. Jesper was really worried about this. He loved meditating and thinking, often exercising with his wife. His wife wants him to notify the show and quit early if he feels unwell. Jesper doesn't want to risk his health for the prize money, but he at least wants to outlast his previous attempt, so it won't feel like a wasted trip. He's searching for a good fishing spot. Last time, he ate a lot of fish and even built a smokehouse, but he still couldn't make it to the end. Now, the pressure to find food is intense. He didn't expect to catch any fish here, but he was pleasantly surprised. He caught a small fish, and today's catch was decent. It would last him a few days. The fish roe was particularly tasty. It would make great sushi. Back home, he could stir-fry it with mushrooms. The aroma would be amazing. Jesper highly recommends everyone try it. Even without any seasoning, the natural flavor is already fantastic. He put the fish directly into his mouth and felt revitalized. Wild-caught fish just tastes better. It's completely different from store-bought fish. He felt like he could catch a few more. Lars, on the other hand, was struggling. With the increasing rain, his shelter area turned into a swamp. Water kept seeping in. The ditches he dug were already full, so Lars had to dig deeper and extend them outside. If things got worse, he might need to relocate. He had the same problem last time when his shelter got too wet. He had to relocate. Lars planned to dig more ditches first, hoping his shelter would hold up. If possible, he really didn't want to move. Finding a new spot and moving everything would take a lot of time and energy. After a lot of hard work, he finally finished the drainage ditches and now had to wait and see how the light rain would impact them. All he wanted was to lie down and rest. Meanwhile, the river near Chris had risen a lot. The water outlet kept hitting the bank, and he worried it might affect his fishing. The water was already mixing. He expected to go hungry today, but to his surprise, he caught a fish, proving his method worked somewhat. He eagerly eyed the fish in his hand, ready to take a bite. Meanwhile, Camilla had cut down a small willow tree to craft a simple drying rack. It was easy to make. She wove the willow branches into a round frame and made a few adjustments to finish. The finished product looked great. She quickly placed mushrooms on it and lit a fire to smoke them. She really missed her girlfriend. Last time he came for the challenge, their relationship improved a lot. Although wilderness survival is tiring, they still had a sweet time. When he's by himself, he feels particularly lonely and wonders what she's up to. Camilla's spirits are sinking. It looks like she might want to give up. On day 12, after Anna moved to her new shelter, her sleep improved and her mood lifted. She even showed off her coat on camera. This coat is her most prized possession. It's so warm she could sleep in a freezer without any issues. For friends who like to play in the north, Anna recommends this coat. Sometimes it even gets too hot. To successfully complete this challenge, she researched for a long time. Whether it's tools or clothes, everything was carefully selected. Facing the Norwegian environment, Anna is quite confident she can last a few more days. But if she continues with a vegetarian diet, her body won't sustain. She has to take it one day at a time. Anna is still introducing her coat. She likes it so much. If her stomach wasn't growling, She could talk about it until dark. Anna is already looking forward to snowy days. Now it's time to collect some berries to eat. This whole area is full of berries. Before winter, she can collect and store more. Wearing the coat, she sweats a lot even after a short walk. She can't stand it and has to take it off. She hurries to collect more berries. These should last her a while. So, you're not going to hunt for meat? Anna's gathered plenty of berries and enjoys the view while eating. She thinks these days aren't too bad. The scenery here makes her feel more relaxed for some reason. Jesper is still adjusting his flute. There's a slight problem with his whistle. He keeps observing and figuring out how to fix it. Recently, he found a pipe on the road. This might be made into a new flute. He just needs to drill holes in it. After a little try, it can make a sound, proving it can be made into a flute. He was busy until sunset. Then he realized he needed food and could only snack nearby. He really enjoys this place. He hopes to stay here a bit longer. Camilla plans to gather moss today and finish the shelter in the next few days. The weather's been worsening lately, and I'm worried the temporary shelter won't hold up. This project is a huge task. Chopping wood alone is exhausting, and there's still so much to do. Camilla's body is starting to protest. I need more food and rest. Chris's net caught another fish, and it looks pretty decent. If we keep this up, I'm sure we can finish the challenge, but we had some trouble getting the net out. I'm not sure why the net got stuck. Yanking it won't help and might rip it apart. Chris had to take his time and be careful. If this net is ruined, I might have to call it quits early. After a lot of effort, I finally got the net up, but some parts are already unusable. Now Chris is stumped on how to repair it, and his mood keeps sinking. It would be a real shame to quit the challenge like this. Camilla is occupied with fishing. She considered trying a deeper spot to catch something and maybe clean up a bit. Surprisingly, she caught a fish this way and is getting more used to this life. Sunny also had a successful catch, but each time he pulls it out, he fears the net might break eventually. Lars is quite pleased with his shelter. It's nearly dark, and he plans to test his luck with fishing. He admits the bait works great. In no time, he caught a fish. As long as he has enough bait, this isn't fishing, it's stocking up. It's really just about having hands. On day 13, Chris plans to find a flat rock for a fireplace. Only a flat surface will do. After some selection and moving, he can now set up the fireplace. It's all about arranging the stones right, with a slight tilt for better effect. He also crafted a hook to hang the pot. The kitchen area is nearly finished. To keep smoke out of his nose, he needs to cut a hole in the waterproof cloth. Chris is a bit worried about cutting too much, in case rainwater flows in. After all this work, it's finally done. Anna's hair hasn't been cleaned in ages, and she needs a clean cloth to wipe it. She had planned her daily tasks before arriving here. But in reality, she's either looking for food or lying in bed sleeping. Plans never keep up with changes. When I'm bored, my mind wanders and I get depressed. It's better to just force myself to sleep more. Anna finds this challenge perplexing and tends to overthink during her downtime. Surviving here isn't for everyone. Even though it's my second time, I still can't get used to this place. I usually love biking and painting. Now it feels like I'm stuck here, and sleeping is my only comfort. Camilla's moving to her new home today. I still need to fell some trees for the roof. It brings back memories of building with my girlfriend. We argued a lot back then. This time, building alone went much smoother. Now I just need to cover it with moss. After all this work, the shelter is finally finished. I can't wait for my girlfriend to see it. Now I can move in and start living here. I completed this all by myself. I feel a great sense of accomplishment. I wonder what everyone thinks of it. Sunnis for nets came up empty today. He's planning to cut down more trees. His only company is the camera. If this keeps up, I'll lose my mind eventually. A single tree lasts 2 to 3 days. The workload remains heavy. Food is scarce, and I'm getting weaker. Sunny is still figuring out how to catch something. Chris isn't happy with his chimney. He wishes he had some clay to secure it, but there's nothing suitable around. Let me see how the smoke is doing. It's working better than I thought. I never expected it to be this cozy. Next, I need to get more food. It's day 14 of the challenge. Sunny is in a good mood today. He quickly fixed his gel nails, and they looked great. Everyone enjoys a bit of pampering, regardless of age. Sunny plans to get his nails done when he gets back. They're almost worn out here. Lars keeps thinking about how to do better next. The shelter and food are okay for now, but I'm not sure if I can make it to the end. I've definitely gotten better since the last challenge. First, I'll put on my clothes and check the shore. Hopefully, I can catch some fish. If not, I'll come back and open the roof. Then I can crawl in and sleep. This is basically how I spend every day. Lars thinks as long as there are no major issues, continues. I can stay here for another month. After resting enough, I'll check the nets. Usually, I can get some food. Lars's day can be summed up as either sleeping or looking for food, occasionally washing clothes. The weather is getting colder, making it harder to get into the water. He does his best to stay fresh. Anna's mental state is deteriorating. She doesn't know what to do next and has been surviving on minimal food. If this continues, her body might not hold up. She can't even relax and sleep, constantly thinking about random things. She even wrote her own obituary, worried she might die here without saying a proper goodbye to everyone. Given Anna's current mental state, an accident is very likely. Sunny is still diligently collecting firewood, unsure of how much is enough. She plans to gather until she can't carry anymore. The fishing nets are relatively stable, as long as she can catch fish. She can keep going, but every time she retrieves the nets, she fears the cold might affect her health. Sadly, she didn't catch anything this time and will need to try again later. For now, she just wants to get back and warm up. Her toes are so cold they're almost numb. Jesper plans to build a sauna. He hasn't relaxed in a long time. First, he needs to find a good spot, ideally near the shore for easy water access. Despite catching some fish, his health hasn't improved. Even walking makes him short of breath, so he has to slow down. He has no idea how long he's been walking, but he ends up back at the start. Jesper loves it here. He arrived with confidence, but now he sees how hard it's been to get this far. He's unsure how much longer he can endure. He aims to beat his previous record and finish the sauna by tomorrow, the 15th day of the challenge. Chris started his day early, enjoying the scenery. If it weren't for his growling stomach, he could watch all day. Rested and ready, Jesper spots big fish jumping in the lake and wonders if the nets hold a surprise. When he reaches the shore, he still sees big fish around. He quickly checks the nets and finds a big fish. It's likely the biggest fish yet, though still smaller than those from the last challenge. Regardless, there's fish to eat. And Jesper is thrilled. Camilla has finished setting up her new shelter and is moving her belongings. Crossing the river was a hassle, requiring at least 5 or 6 trips to complete. It made him dizzy after a while. In moments like these, he longed for his girlfriend's help. Handling everything solo was draining. The crew was due for another check on the participants. Everyone had shed a lot of weight. While it wasn't critical enough to make anyone quit yet, if this continued, someone might have to leave at the next checkup. The crew gave advice and encouragement, hoping everyone could continue. When the crew departed, they collected the camera cards. Anna's footage stood out this time. The doctor reviewed her report and was very worried. If she continued alone, something might go wrong. For safety reasons, the crew decided to have a talk. Although Anna kept smiling, she was very fragile inside. Even though she said she wrote it just in case, from the doctor's perspective, Anna's mental state was not good. She didn't expect the crew to come back. She was deeply moved. The crew couldn't let Anna stay in the wild. Her recordings were too negative, so they decided to make Anna leave the challenge. She was very calm when she heard the news. She told the staff she understood. It seemed she had already wanted to go home. She just couldn't stay any longer. Hopefully, she'll recover well at home. With Anna gone, only 5 participants remained. For Sunny, staying warm constantly occupied her thoughts. With the dropping temperatures, she felt increasingly cold. She had previously quit a challenge due to the cold. She was determined to avoid that experience again. She decided to arrange stones for a fire pit, inspired by other survivalists. However, tree roots were everywhere, making digging tough. She was already regretting it. She needed to pause and collect herself. Unsure of how many were still in the game, she was beginning to long for home. Chris didn't let even a small fish go to waste, planning to fry it up. He thought it would be better used as bait. After cooking, he immediately tasted it. It was good, but there wasn't much meat. The crew worried about the participants' skills and provided a luba tank for safety. Camilla felt much warmer with it. Lars woke up at night to use the bathroom and misplaced his gloves. The constant dripping from the shelter was the most irritating, disrupting his sleep. Lars is on the brink of madness. It's day 16, and Jesper has everything ready. Today, I must finish building the sauna. This circle is just for praying, hoping nature will protect me. Building the sauna isn't very difficult, as long as it can fit one person. Sunny's fishing net still hasn't caught any fish. There's no better way now, just leave it here and hope for luck. Unexpectedly, when I came back, I saw a small fish on it. The fish was really too small. I couldn't bear to eat it, so I put it back in the water. I hope the fish returns to repay me when it's bigger. Chris would have eaten it immediately. He really needs the food. He's losing more and more weight. I'm worried he might have to leave. Jesper's sauna is ready, just waiting for the stones to heat up. This one is already well roasted. Now I can go in and enjoy it. I wish my wife were here. I picked up my new flute and started playing. This life is really wonderful. I also cleaned the dirt off my body. I wish I could stay in here forever. I wonder what exciting things will happen next. Let's wait and see together.